Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today I'm going to be talking about FUBO, fuboTV incorporations. I'm going to go briefly through technical analysis to get the psychology of traders, and then I'm going to dive through anything I could find about this company here and their products and services, and kind of give an insight to what I think about this one. Let's jump right into it. So I couldn't do a 1 week perspective since it looks like, well, it's a new IPO of course, but mainly as well is because it had a split on February 2019 a while ago, sorry, February 17th, and again on 2019. That's just because there's been a change in the ticker itself since this was a SPAC at some point. So we're going to do a 1 day perspective, and so on the 1 day perspective, what we get to see here is an MACD that might be curving down, attempting a negative reversal. 80X that shows in a very strong potential, very strong uptrend here. Willing percent R is currently oversold. And MACD here looks like it's attempting a negative reversal. Momentum is a little bit sloppy, although the moving averages looks really bullish. We can take a quick look into 2-hour perspective, and what we get to see is it looks like an MACD here that might attempt a positive side to it. It reached 2148. I believe this one was based on earnings. It was a little bit short-lived and dropped significantly down towards 1588 to the accumulation zone. Now, moving averages, this one is put somewhere around 1544 in the top, 1404 in the middle, and 1263 in the bottom. It's very similar to the BB bands, so that's something to consider, that it might actually trade within that zone. Now, the next thing we're looking at here is the stochastic fast and the stochastic slow. We get to see that it's actually attempting to go towards a negative trend, although I wouldn't give it much mind, so I'll skip over that. Now, coming on towards Fibonacci retracements and supports and resistances, what we get to see is there's a current support at the 1430, 1287, and 1110. Current resistance at the 1572 and the 1776. We can take a quick look into supports and resistances. A current support sits at the 1503. Below there, 1438. Below there, we're looking at 1317. Then below there, 1211, and then all the way down towards 1101, followed by 1040. We can take a quick look into resistances. We see 1568, 1638, and then up to 2035. Now let's jump right into anything I could find in terms of news, etc. First things first is what channel. So just to give it a bit of an insight before we go into this, fuboTV is basically almost somewhere of a Netflix service, so it's a live sport and TV without cable. It focuses only on, or at least what I could find on, more of sports. At least that's what they advertise on. Now they do have things, for instance, as of August 1st, they have things like Comedy Central, Views, I'm not sure what that is again, Lifetime movies, so it's not only about sports, Nickelodeon and Nick Jr. So they do have a bit of a selection on there, but they really pride themselves onto sports. Now the price point for this one here, and that's in USD dollars, it's $15.99 per month. Yes, it's cheaper than some services out there, but when you consider they're competing with Netflix, Disney Plus, etc., I believe Netflix right now starts with $9.99 US dollars, and then Disney Plus is around the same range. So this one's a little bit more expensive, but again, it's live TV for sports, including BN Sports, Fox Sports, I believe, is on there, Paramount Network, Fight Network, FUBO Sports Networks, etc., etc., etc. Latest news comes in. I couldn't find as well a presentation on this one, but their Q3 results, so I'm going to be covering that in a second here. 316,000 paid subscribers in 2019, with 300 million total hours, 144 monthly hours streamed per user, and 147 million 2019 revenue. You can imagine when sport bars, etc. open up, this would be a really nice solution for them instead of paying cables. Next thing is that they've participated, or at least participated in the 2020, November 12, my bad. Things have been rough this year. November 12, 2020, Broad Technology Virtual Event. It did see a little bit of a bump on there. And they also announced their Q3, and that was on November 10th, and that's why we saw a massive jump on November 10th extended market. Moving on a little bit to November 11th. So that was at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and some of the information we've received on there was actually positive. So here's some of the highlights. Revenues were 61.2 million, a 47 increase year over year. Let me quickly. On a pro forma basis, or 71% additional, excluding 2019 licensed revenue from FaceBank AG Business sold in July 2020. Subscription revenues increased 64% year over year, and advertising revenue increased 153% year over year. Paid subscribers at the quarter end were around 455,000, 58% increase. Average revenues per user per month was 67.70, per 14% year over year. Total content hours streamed by fuboTV users in the quarter increased 83% year over year to 133.3 million hours, 133 million hours. Monthly active users watched 121 hours per month on average in the quarter and increased 20% year over year. We're going to scroll all the way down towards where we can find a bit of the information. Revenues from subscribers, it seems to be increasing here. 53,433. Oh, that's in thousands. So the revenues coming out of there is 53 million. 9 months ending is 92 million. So you can see that while this quarter has been quite effective there, 61.2 million. You can't compare 2019 because it looks like subscription advertising revenues there is null, but you can get to see in the last 3 months it cut half what it was in the 9 months. So that's something to consider. Operating expense losses, 302 million, more than what they make on revenues, total revenues. So that is a bummer there. But a big part of it is impairment on intangible assets and goodwill. That's a massive, massive chunk. I don't imagine this to be something going on, especially looking into the 9 months. It looks like this quarter is the only one, so I'll give them a break on that one. So we're looking at 236. So it looks like if they were to not have that expense later on, but just a little bit onto sales and marketing, they can easily be profitable, and the net loss would come to net income. So it looks like they have a stable future. However, cash here is alarming, and that might give you an insight to, hey, they might have an offering if they don't fix up their revenues and cash flow. But overall, it looks like they have a good future. Now, they have beat the revenues. Recently, IPO software beats Wall Street's third quarter goals. So that's the reason why I jumped. Going on towards institutional buyers, we see 2 of them. That was all the way back in August. Nothing significant beyond there. And insider buyers, we see insider purchases in November. In October the 13th at around $10 per share. Other than that, this was the SPAC news of the reverse merger going on to FUBO as of August 10th as a ticker trading. So that gives you a little bit of an insight towards what the company is all about. Now comes to the question, is hold or sell or buy, right? I'm not going to give you a rating of that sense because it's up to you as investor to kind of decide. Definitely this one looks like to be a little bit on the premium side of cost-wise, but definitely would have a future in more of the online industry where everything is moving on, mainly for sports. So I get to see this one to be more of a seasonal quarters one, right? Where you have the NBA coming back season, NFL, NHL, perhaps also if they go on international, you would have things like the World Cup, that thing that happens every 4 years. Yeah, the World Soccer Cup, or they call it football club. Cup. So there's that. So you can expect that revenues increase around that areas as well and becomes more of a seasonal thing. I'm not sure if winter sports gets the same numbers, but that could be something as well to be added. Olympics, etc. I do imagine people subscribe to this at least for a shorter term. So that's something to consider. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like. You have a wonderful day.